lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Now, the first question I must ask you, ladies and gentlemen, is do you remember the 21st night of September, which happens just so conveniently to be today? Because this is going to be a race which is going to have everything you need. It will have earth, wind, and fire as we get ourselves ready for action at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park here in Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada. It's a speed thrill ride. It is all about draft. This is the place you want great battling to happen, right here with us at ESBN, your esports broadcasting network. I'm Jake Sperry, joined alongside for the ride, as usual, with my good friend, of course, that is Sam Cooper-Bennett. And Sam, you know, we're sat here at this motorsport circuit. We understand that this is a track built on high speed. It's very much a throwback style circuit, and one where you are going to see positioning and overtaking the two main priorities of racing.
Yeah, and it's a very difficult track to come to. It's very similar to where we were last week at Okayama, but in a different way. It's more challenging in its own right. Obviously, this was the original home of the Canadian Grand Prix back in the 70s, and glad to be back here again. It's going to be a fun night, I'm sure.
one of the few tracks out there that layout has remained unchanged since inception. And on top of unchanged since inception here, as we're right at the end of practice here, it's been unchanged since its inaugural creation in 1961. So I don't think I know any circuit in the world that has been unchanged for nearly 60 years at this point.
No, I've never known a track like that. I think the only track that has slightly come close to it is Monte Carlo, but other than that, I don't really know any other track that's been any different to what it is now.
Well, Monte Carlo's had some changes, especially down over at the La Rascas section of the track. So even then, this has had no changes to it, no alterations. It's been absolutely fine. But qualifying is about to start. There are 25 drivers here again today. But more crucially, there are a few drivers on the wrong side of the penalties and will have to be dealing, I think is the right way to say it tonight, with a couple of things here and there. So the drivers you are expecting to not go out there and qualify today will be Mark Lutz, Mick Barry, Scott Malcolm, Carl Hardy, and Daniel Bristow. Bristow, the big one of the names, and expect the likes of Hardy and Lutz to also be starting from the pits in race number 2 out there today. So that's going to be something worth keeping in the back of the mind as drivers will look for their best possible opportunities in qualifying. This is going to be a difficult one. It's 3.96 kilometers, but you really do need to be in draft range to get a good lap on the board.
Yeah, especially through that final part as well, and a couple of difficult corners to speak of. I mentioned it last night, and they're coming up to it right now, especially Andreas Katz, this double apex right-hander, which really catches out a lot of drivers around here, and then it's the run up the hill towards the final part of the track. Very important part of this Motorsports circuit.
And speaking of important parts of the circuit and important parts of the season, we do have one driver today making their debut in the series. It's the number 75 machine of Joe McDonald. I've been informed he does not have a farm, so he'll be looking for everything he can get and a bit more. But Joe's going to do everything possible to get that safeguard team right up the order.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Safeguard expanding to 3 drivers now for this week. Hopefully, they don't have the same pit road problems that they had last week. Now they've got an extra driver.
I wholeheartedly agree. If they sort out their setup and go out there and do exactly what they need to, we shouldn't see too many problems. First times, not representative times, we must stress, are starting to claw up on the board. Roy Vaveka is quickest, and he's had a massive moment coming out of turn 1, grabbing the tires, grabbing the curb, grabbing the wall, and he is now going to limp around, because if he can limp that car, look how battered it is right now here, Sam, how battered Roy Vaveka's car is. If he can get that car back, it's allowed a new one. Yeah,
because obviously the with this being qualifying, the no escape rule is in effect. So if Roy Vaveka was to tow the car, then he would no longer be able to take part in this qualifying session. So to limp it back and try and get back at least in on 3 wheels at least instead of 4, then that will work to his benefit here.
First start of the season as well for Roy Vaveka. Trial by fire to get in. First race, first qualifying lap. And it's in the wall at turn 1. So there's always the difficulty around this place. It looks such an easy circuit on paper, but every single quick corner has its challenges, especially down the hill at Clayton's Corner, turn number 2. That's where we're probably going to see today the most incidents happen as times start rolling in. Dan Hunt goes to the top, only for the briefest of moments. Vincenzo Amico's 3/10 clear.
Yeah, Amico looking for a better run this time around. Didn't have the best of times last week at Okayama, but we'll be looking to come to this track knowing that he has to really pick up his game if he wants to really successfully defend his season 2 title.
And successfully defending is very much the key. If he can do that, then he is going to be sorted for a very, very long time out there. Still a few drivers who have yet to set a time. Pete Newman, of course, is the championship leader out of round 1. His superhuman efforts then got him to that point, and he's got that working on at this stage, as well as worth noting here, the cleanest driver in the field after last week. 4 races, 3 0x incident races, 1 4x through the entirety of the event. Steve Hansford in the 57.
Yeah, and that's put him in second in the AM category standings, and that has put, in turn, has put Optical Green at the top of the team standings as well for the season so far. So Optical Green really starting off strong here, especially compared to their Optical Blue and Optical Black counterparts.
They absolutely are, and this is an important point for them. They know that speed is of the essence, but also safety. Safety's got them a long way. Dan Hunt goes quickest then with a 131.334. Just behind him now, Martin Sampson goes second fastest, and suddenly out of nowhere, Top Gun number 23, Andreas Katz is fastest.
That he is, the number 23, the season 1 champion. We'll be looking to build on what was a pretty good comeback last week at Okayama. It's only 20 points behind Pete Newman in the standings, and we'll be looking for he's looking for not a repeat performance of last season.
No, I totally agree on that point. Andreas Katz wants to challenge for that title again, and if he can keep up results like he did in week 1, of course, at Okayama, he will be able to do that. He's taking the train behind Anthony Larson, who's 7th fastest at the moment, 132.1. So we are starting to see how every single point balances out. It's a check and a balance through every single lap around this circuit. And we're seeing here how you're just getting these little micro packs which are starting to form. The big train, of course, right now is with Hunt and Hefford and Sampson, and all of those drivers are hoping that they can get up there. And it's also worth talking about the team's championship as Sampson dives to the pit, because that team's championship, Momo want an opportunity here today. They've got Van Gool in 9th position. They've got Jamie Ayres now up into 4th place. Steve Hefford's in 5th now, demoted because of his teammate. Momo have got the numbers now.
Yeah, they do. As Van Gool and Hefford back on form again this season round, so currently sitting second, and they are by far the closest team to Optical Green right now, as I believe it's WorkGuard in 3rd place, so a couple of 100 points back. So it might already be a 2-horse race, but again, it's a long season. We're only in week 2, so a long way to go yet.
Leading amateur in qualifying right now is interesting. Got 7 minutes 52 seconds on the clock. It's Ralph Cullinan in 8th position in the number 32. The Irishman there, as his teammate behind has a big moment there. That is Craig Jones, who has battered the wall at Quebec, going through turn number 3. So Craig Jones getting a hint of oversteer, pushing too deep in the grass and round. But really, for the brilliant result cars there, Ralph Cullinan up in 8th place is exactly what they want to be seeing.
Yeah, and the other result car, Mick Barry, will be absolutely kicking himself right now, because he was the fastest AM category driver in the open practice, and unfortunately can't take part in qualifying, so he's going to have to start right at the back. But the one thing that he can keep in confidence is the fact that he does have the pace to be right up there with those other AM cars.
Yeah, he certainly does have that pace, and I'm sure he'll be looking to showcase it as Peter Van Gool, PVG, goes 7th fastest at this point in time. But Pete Newman, number 118, Pure Sims Esports, is up there by 0.06 of a second ahead of Andreas Katz. 1 and 2 in the championship after week 1, are 1 and 2 in qualifying, and now you've got a really interesting 6 minutes, because you've also got the 07, the driver who's led the most championship rounds over the course of the UK Sim Racing MX-5 Pro Series history, that being Dan Hunt.
Yeah, currently sitting 3rd place, and we're looking to improve on that one. Doesn't really have the draft. Actually doesn't have the draft at all of anybody at the moment. Does have Jamie Ayres right behind him, so maybe Hunt might, if he's feeling a bit clever, might try and duck in behind the number 46, but doesn't seem to be doing so right now. Just seems to be happy just sitting front, and just as I say that, he does exactly what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah, lift off, get back in the draft. It's a case of, I'll go set a lap, I'll make sure I do cadence, but nobody wants to be doing that work. And on top of that, Andreas Katz decides that he doesn't want to be doing work either. This is a very, very technical game that you are seeing out on circuit. I am keeping an eye out on if Craig Jones did, in fact, tow the car to the pits. He did not tow the car to the pits despite the damage, so he will be able to get back out there again and put a lap in, as it's a case of no real improvements this time around at this moment. Anthony Larson, for example, is up now into 9th position overall, and we've got some interesting battles up and down the order. You've got likes of Darrell Wright, for example, in the 84s, 13th fastest at this point in time. There are some real opportunities to go out there, get a good result, and make something happen in races like these. 13th is a place which I think is very malleable, and if there are issues for drivers in front, you can really capitalise from.
And don't forget, Darrell Wright is one of the pro drivers as well, so he does have the ability to go up there and challenge at the front. I'm not saying that the AM category drivers don't, but I mean, Darrell Wright has been given the pro badge for a reason, so 13th place is a pretty decent position for him to start in.
Decent, but it's not guaranteed just yet. 3/10 clear of Charles Kellyman on a 32.9 out there at this moment, and a number of drivers haven't set anything representative. Roy Viveka, Andy Maxwell is another who hasn't had the best out there representative. I think their qualifyings are over. Andy Littler currently is 19th fastest at this stage, with the likes of Hansford there. Kellyman up the hills behind Sampson. Alan Toon currently in 17th position. It's been really nice to see Alan Toon's progress so far out there in terms of the races. Here he's been getting a little bit more stuck in, and it's been nice to see him up there battling.
Yeah, it's been nice to see him get those elbows out and really fight for those positions on the track, as he's currently getting the elbows out on Martin Sampson right now as it happens, as they come to this right-hander, and he's going to tuck him right behind him, but might find himself in a bit of trouble there. That's, I believe that's the 67 of Kellyman just gone around him as well.
It is, and Charles Kellyman goes around and quietly dispatches of that for the time being. Still, though, time to be found in this session. 3 minutes and a couple of trains still forming up. Jamie Ayres trying to work with Steve Hefford to find a shade of improvement out there. The 46 and the 80 then trying to tow. We've got Miko and Newman together on circuit. That's going to be another interesting one to see, and I think Dan Hunt has decided, you know what, I can't improve anymore. My session's going to be no better than 3rd position only.
Yeah, and Miko, I believe, has just done the same. He's backed off out of that lap as well and let Pete Newman by, possibly to try and get a draft off him, but we thought that about Dan Hunt, but he took it down pit road in the end, and I think that Miko's about to do the same again. Yes, he does.
Yep, so Vincenzo Amico's making a lunge for the pits. It's going to be interesting to see whether he wants to go back out there again or not, because he has driven the car down to pit lane. So we'll see if he does decide he wants to go out and get one more. He's got 2 minutes, 10 seconds, so he's got about 30 seconds if he wants to. You're allowed to start the lap as you go around, and at least for the time being, it looks very, very busy down on pit lane at the moment. So it swings and roundabouts here. If you can find the pace, use it. If you can't, you're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, as talking about swings and roundabouts, and been keeping an eye on Martin Sampson and Charles Kellyman now. They've been quite close together all qualifying session long, and going through turn 1, it looks like Kellyman just using that draft right behind that number 80 very precisely to try and work his times up right now. Kellyman currently sitting 13th. Sampson in P6 right now. And let's talk about Sampson right now. Very good first week of the season last week at Okayama, picking up his, I believe it was only his 3rd race win of his UK sim racing career.
Yeah, doesn't matter how they come along. Martin Sampson deserved it, got the victory, and will be looking to do so the same when it goes forward. So number 4 hopefully is not as long of a wait, but he's helping Kellyman out at this stage, try and jump up the order. We are down to the final 50 seconds out there on track, and who is going to manage finding the pace, finding the elements and reserves that they very much want. We know that times are very, very tough to come by out there, and a couple drivers are out of position. Andy Maxwell and Roy Viveka, the big two. Bristow, Barry, Malcolm, Hardy, they've all got work over the course of their sessions to do, and it looks like Ralph Cullinan is going no quicker than 10th fastest, as his time is all but shuftied away. 17 seconds to go here, Sam, and right now it's about who's going to be last to the line.
Yeah, and you talk about Ralph Cullinan trying to hold on to that 10th place. Well, it might be under threat here because Carl Jacquelet is still out on track right now in that 11th spot. Let's see if he can improve as he's coming through the final two corners and gets it all wrong. Has to dive for pit road after that big mistake right there.
Checker flag is out. Sampson is done with it. And a lot of drivers thinking they're done. Jacquelet into the pit. Steve Cooley now rounding the final couple corners is 15th at this stage, drifting it through the final section and making a drive for the line. Steve Cooley, 32.880. It's good enough to remain in 15th place out there on circuit. Joe McDonald, though, 33.2 right now. Would love a half a second to go quicker, and that one does not count. Jamie Ayers also hoping for a bit of improvement. 31.5. The margin to beat is a 32 flat. That is the power of the draft, and everybody is done in qualifying. So we can go over to the starting grid and see how everyone is going to stack up at Motorsports here today. It is the 118 Pure Sims Esports outfit of Pete Newman, who will start on pole position of 131.224. We'll have Andreas Katz, his nearest challenger in the championship, behind him in second position. Dan Hunt will start from third with Vincenzo Amico, fourth fastest. Jamie Ayers going from fifth with Martin Sampson in sixth place. PVG, Peter Van Gool, will go from seventh with Steve Hefford in eighth position. Ninth belongs to Anthony Larson, while Ralph Cullinan rounds out the top 10. Carl Jacquelet then will go from row 6 of the grid with Craig Jones alongside for company. Charles Kellyman, lucky 13 for some, with Darrell Wright in 14th. Steve Cooley goes from 15th position with 16th belonging to Joe McDonald on his debut. Steve Hansford and Alan Toon are 17th and 18th, with Andy Littler 19th, Roy Viveka 20th, and Andy Maxwell in 21st position. Last four drivers will be sorted out by their I rating, but it is expected that it will go Daniel Bristow, Carl Hardy, Scott Malcolm, and Mick Barry at the back in 25th positions. They start to grid. Cold conditions, 19 degrees, set time at 10 to 8 in the morning. So it's going to be cold here, Sam.
Yeah, and, well, it's kind of natural for Canada, but not during May time. Usually it's very unseasonably cold for them, as 19 degrees track temperature, 18 degrees air temperature, 2 kilometers per hour wind, and the humidity not too high either. So it's cold, but not too humid either.
It is a little bit cold. Everyone, of course, who missed qualifying can start from the back of the grid, but if there is any place you want a good start through turn one, this is the track for it, because of how everyone looks to try and go single file at turn number 2. It's a single line corner because the track falls away dramatically through that section of road, and nobody wants to be on the wrong side of that as they lean over through the grass towards the barriers. They have paved that in real life now. That is a difference from the in-sim work. But everybody on the grid, lights on then here at Motorsport. We are getting ready for race 1 of 4 tonight. Round 5 overall gets itself underway. Dan Hunt's not gone. Dan Hunt has not gone off at the start. A very, very slow getaway from Dan Hunt, who's finally realised that he has dropped about half the places on the grid and has it all to do now going through this one. Everyone's managed to get around without too many troubles, except at the very, very back of the field. One of the work guard cars in trouble. Littler and Viveka, I think, has gone in together. Hardy is there in the fence, and that is a big crash at the back. Scott Malcolm is caught up in it as well. A lap at the back, which has already caused dramas.
Yeah, Viveka, his first race is done already. Carl Hardy out, Scott Malcolm out, Andy Littler able to continue with very superficial damage, but 3 cars out already in race 1, and that's not how you want to start things off here.
No, it isn't. Through the Moss corner, drivers come along at the front of the field. Newman leads, Katz is second, and Miko is there in third. Fourth is Ayers at this stage, and now we start to see draft become such a prevalent matter in this race. How do you manage draft? How do you manage putting yourself in the right position? Because at least for the moment, it is going to be all about that patience factor as they go through. Cat closing right up then towards turn number 8, out on circuit through the S's, and is not quite there just yet. But there is still time, and a lot of time, to figure this out. 15 minutes is quick, but you still have that element of thinking time to go and make some moves.
Like you do as they come across the line to complete lap 1, and it's all Newman, Katz and Amico right now. Ayers trying to hold on as we get through lap 1 very successfully, apart from 3 other drivers that are now out of this one, as it looks like Samson slightly struggling to hold on. Same for Peter Van Gool, just staying ahead of Hefford right now, and already on the back of them, Anthony Larson, Dan Bristow, mind you, already starting to make his way for the field. We got one off in the back there. I think that might have been Alan Toon.
Might have been. I think it was. So Alan Toon's had a moment, and a big one at that. Has been struggling to get the car turned in there, and fortunate enough to keep it out of the grass or out of the barriers and continue on forward. Up the hill again and through the big right. This is a complete setup track. You can set up Moss, you can go out there, you can attack, you can get what you want. And the key is going to be those two, Hunt and Bristow, trialing away through the field to try and get themselves into place. Here comes the look for the race lead then. Andreas Katz, tired of waiting, is going to go to the outside, try and pick this move off. Amico thinking about threading the needle to go to 3 wide through the big right at 8. And it is no dice just yet. They have to stay there in line. Andreas Katz to the point, and a bump to the back from Jamie Ayres.
Yeah, it's, that little lunge there by Amico, bringing Ayres back into it, actually bringing the whole train back together again. Is now Ayres taking a little peek to the inside of Amico, not quite close enough through turn 1, as already we've got a pass for 5th place here. Samson on Van Gool.
Other way around, Van Gool on Samson. Samson's defending, but he's going to cover it off through 2, and they're going to block each other out of this one then. Goodbye, pack. And they will naturally form their own battle. They're still going to fight all the way to Quebec. And there goes Larson to the outside as well, trying to pick it up, but they're going to understeer off. Van Gool's going to go completely off the circuit there, and he drops 4 places plus for his troubles. Carl Jacquelet, I think, is going to sweep around the outside as well. That's how easily one mistake gets punished here.
Yeah, Jacquelet gets it away from him, so good move from him. Cullinan as well. Very much the AM category leader right now. He's got 2 pro cars in between him and his teammate Craig Jones right now, and looking good for results so far in the early running of this race.
It certainly is. Result, no. But they're not the quickest, but they are a team that gets those results. Race 2, race 3, race 4. Here comes PVG looking to attack Jacquelet. There's moves everywhere you look. Samson looking for a battle. So is Pete Newman against Andreas Katz, the 2 leaders, deciding they want to go scrap it out through 8, 9 and 10. Don't show your hand too early, and Pete Newman just quietly shuffles back into position. They're still fighting behind though. Samson's still refusing to let Steve Hefford get that place. And now here comes Larson to turn 1.
And Larson going for a contact, and Hefford into the wall hard.
Hefford in huge trouble, and that is a damaged front nose, and this is going to be a long way through. He's got to be careful, and he's trying to check the steering as well. Just hitting the brakes there is Steve Hansford, keeping an eye on it. I think that's the end of Steve Hefford. Yeah,
that was a big hit into the Armco there through turn 1, and that's very difficult to come back from, and it is. He tows it to pit road. His race is over.
Dan Hunt's made contact with Craig Jones, and Jones has lost 3 places because of it. Just unsettled him through Quebec, and that let everybody through.
Yeah, and look what that's caused right now. It's a battle already between the 2 Dans, Dan Hunt and Dan Bristow, battling out now for that last spot in the top 10.
And importantly, we saw a lot of last season and into this one. The two Dans getting a little bit friendly with each other. We wonder if that will be the same again. Another little look then for Pete Newman. He wants the race lead. He wants to make sure that he gets the race lead as he will saddle on towards turn number 8. Will he make the move and get it sorted? The answer for the moment is yes, but the inside will always favour Andreas Katz. Going through turn number 9, he just holds that outside line. He's got the car position over at 10, and he's got the move sorted. But this is the move that happened last time, but the difference here is Pete Newman's got the inside here. Coming for turn number 1. He's going to start searching now for that overtake. But again, outside line from Andreas Katz. They've been going half a lap side by side, and finally at 2, he's got it sorted. But here comes Amico now searching, trying to be opportune.
Yeah, you have to be opportunistic in these situations. And you know, Newman, whether he's recovering from a surgery or not, is still going to try and defend that one, and he does, ahead of Amico. But that defending has just let Katz just break out a tiniest bit of a gap, and sometimes, well, usually, that's all Andreas Katz needs, and he can just scamper away into the distance. But we know Newman, he won't let that get away so easily.
Not at this circuit either, the sort of circuit it is tough to break away at, and we'll keep an eye on it. They've brought Martin Sampson directly on the train. Indirectly, Larson and Cullinan are trying to work there. So is Van Gool and Bristow and Hunt. They have dispatched the Carl Jacquelet. So it's another little look that they're trying to get. Here comes Sampson with a little search. Pete Newman's going to search for it as well on the outside. And is this going to be a case of move done? No, it's not again. So once more, it is Andreas Katz doing just enough, covering the line off as intended, and making sure that he is not needing to be overtaken just yet. Still, though, those 5 know that if anything happens in the remaining 7 minutes or so of this race, it's theirs for the taking. This is easy pickings if it goes wrong. And it's been calm and just some controlled, I would say, tactical battling we've seen here in race 1.
Yeah, and Sampson, I feel, is in a prime position here in that 5th spot, because he's got just enough a gap between himself and Jamie Ayres, where it's that top 4 all come together right now. He's right there to pick it up and take over the lead and run the baton to the end of this race. But he doesn't want to be too cautious. That car of Anthony Larson is starting to threaten him now as they come down the hill to this right-hander.
Yep, and then back up at Moss. It's off camber through here. You're always fighting the car, making sure that you've got enough to go through the corner and not have to stab on the throttle again as you attack that section. So it's going to be an interesting battle, as is the one a little bit further down for 14th place. Steve Cooley in the defence against Maxwell, McDonald and Wright.
Yeah, Cooley having a good battle right here. Probably would wish he's a bit higher up, seeing as he's just recently moved to the pro category. But here comes Andy Maxwell, gonna look to, gonna be forced on the grass by Cooley here. That could end in tears really badly, but Maxwell able to hold it out there as he gets the inside line into the right-hander.
He does, and it's as easy as this. Move is done. Cooley's gonna try and attack deep to get to the inside here at turn number 9, and is gonna do so, but not find the move at 10. Well covered by Andy Maxwell. He had that completely scouted on defense as they went through. Still, Andreas Katz is your leader. We've got 5 minutes on the clock, and it's a train of 5 trying to find themselves with everything they need and a bit more. On the brakes they go in towards turn number 2, and it's turn 3 here of Quebec, and it's once more a case of how long do you want to throw Andreas Katz out in the fire in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, the more they battle amongst themselves, the more they let Katz stay out there. As a little bit of a peek there by Ayres on Amico, and gets a big up and under on Amico, and looks like he might take the position away here. Great move there by Ayres.
But the difference is, draft really helped in the early goings. Look at them, wing mirror to wing mirror on the straight. Jamie Ayres, Vincenzo Amico. I wonder if Amico felt like that was not the right position to go and make it happen. And there's quarter panel contact on the straight, the Mario Andretti straight as well. And now I think Amico's trying to make a statement message. Through, by the way, goes Larson He moves up into the top 5 temporarily, but what a battle we are seeing right now with the front 6, and it's continuing to close. You look behind the group and they can see Cullinan is there. Bristow also encroaching.
Yeah, and Bristow's just got around Peter Van Gool as well, so Bristow is not done with the passing manoeuvres here tonight, although he's still got lots of making up to do. I believe he's going to start from pit road in race 2, so he's trying to make up for lost time here.
There's a lot of lost time to try and get things back, so we'll see whether that is going to be the reality. Amico with another little look in towards turn number 3. He's not going to get the job done there. And once more, patience play. The name of the game. Craig Jones in a scrap with Charles Kellyman. McDonald and Cooley both through now on Andy Maxwell for place on top of that. But the lead. This is where it's all going to come down to, because it's up to Ayers to close that gap. And a little mistake there from Jamie Ayers might have just let that gap open again for Pete Newman.
Yeah, Newman already finding himself right on the back of Andreas Katz there as they come down the Andretti straight again, and it's going to be very late if he's going to try it. He's getting very close though as he looks to, is he going to go left or is he going to go right here? He's going to expect it to go right, but decides to stay behind Katz for now as here comes Amico.
Oh, send it there from Vincenzo, the reigning champ. He tries to go through this contact, and Ayers covers it off, and Larson then to the outside is going to try and pick one up on his teammate here. There's some brilliant battling, and it's going to continue all the way. They're going to cross the line. What's the difference as they cross it? 8/10 to Pete Newman for Jamie Ayers. They've let that gap extend a bit, and now Ronin have to really regather here in the final 2 laps of this race. They've got to go. Traffic slows down on the left-hand side. That's Steve Hefford. That's Scott Malcolm getting out of the way there. And ultimately, now you start thinking about, okay, one position here or there. Ralph Cullinan, this would be huge if he could steal a couple more. Dan Bristow there, and wide goes Larson.
Yeah, Larson having to back out of that one, ran a bit too far wide and ran out of track right there. And in turn has let his teammate by, but here comes Cullinan. Big move on Larson, and this is going to be huge for him and the AM category here, as here comes Bristow as well now.
Bristow making contact, able to gather it up. Sure, Larson there was not going to be willing to let that go, and PVG might be thinking about, I want to get it. Lead 2 though, Katz and Newman, the top 2 in the championship. They're going to want to try and figure this out between themselves, and it seems that way at the moment on this 9th revolution of this circuit. Through the big right-hander, they will come along of 8 at the S's. 9 will immediately switch back and follow. And then you got that final corner, turn number 10. Out on track. Is that going to be an option available? Wide goes Andreas Katz. And we now look at this. White flag waving in the air. We've got one more attempt left.
That we do, and it's game on between Katz and Newman. Newman looking to build on what was a brilliant first week at Okayama last week, and we're looking to do the same this time around, but that big red car in front of him, Andreas Katz making that big red car as wide as possible as we are on the final lap here and heading into the right-hander.
Is the big red car going to have it all his own way? Andreas Katz knows that Pete Newman is set up for opportunity. This is what he does so well in this series. Sit, wait, be patient, and the chance will come. Ayers in 3rd is not safe either. He misses the apex once again, trying to get a drive off the exit. And Ralph Cullinan, who is through now on Anthony Larson, will be looking behind at Dan Bristow, trying to make a mega move. For the race lead, though, here comes Pete Newman. He will go to the outside. There's some traffic there. It's one of the work guard cars then. That's Andy Littler. And that's enough to give Pete Newman a half a car. Going into turn number 8. Almost a full car as he turns in. They battled side by side for 3rd as well. As still, Katz, bit of contact there as they go through turn number 8. Sliding through turn 9. Ayers is still holding behind, but now it's about the drive up and under. Newman trying to get the pickpockets move. Newman trying to get the pickpockets move. Katz holds on.
Wow, what a finish between those two. Very, very close. Only 3/100ths of a second in it between the two. Ayres just holding on for third place. Amico for fourth. And Martin Sampson in the top five. What about, well, I was going to say Ralph Cullinan, but he dropped back to P10 at the end there. Oh, big damage as well.
Oh, yeah, heavy damage for Ralph. He's had a big moment coming through the final corner. Got absolutely tagged in the back by Larson and pushed into the wall. Up 1, 2, 3 different hits as he got over the line. And fortunate enough to get along the line in 10th place. Otherwise, it may have been not so favourable by those terms. But for the first time tonight, we are going to go wheel spinning, ladies and gentlemen. We determine all of our reverse grids by a spinning wheel. And wherever that result lands is how much of a reverse we will get for race number 2. Let's spin that wheel for the first time tonight. See where it will land.
And it's number 13.
13 is lucky for some. Well, the driver who started P13, who finished P13, will now get the pole position. So Charles Kellyman will get pole for race number 2. Confirmation result then going to come up on your screen. Andreas Katz has picked up the victory, 15 minutes, 29 seconds, winning by a margin of just a shade under 300ths of a second, with third position going to Jamie Ayres overall in that race. Vincenzo Amico finishes fourth with Martin Sampson fifth, Anthony Larson in sixth, and Daniel Bristow at his antics again, up 15 places, reaches seventh overall. It's Peter Van Gool in eighth, Dan Hunt with the sluggish start, recovering back to ninth, and Ralph Cullinan, the leading AM, rounding out the top 10. Carl Jacquelet gets 11th with Craig Jones 12th. 13th in the end for Charles Kellyman will be converted to a pole. Joe McDonald on debut will be on the outside looking in 14th. Mick Barry finishing 15th with Darrell Wright 16th. Steve Cooley in 17th. Then you've got Steve Hansford, Andy Maxwell, and Alan Toon rounding out the field, with Andy Littler a lap down, Scott Malcolm 2 laps down, and then you've got Steve Hefford, Roy Viveka, and Carl Hardy, all failures to finish in that one. About I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drivers with 0x incident point races. They will all get 5 extra points in the championship because of that. And we're going to take this chance to have a little chat and conversation with a certain driver here or there. Let's find someone that we don't often get the chance to maybe have a chat with. And why not talk with the driver who found themselves in the wall towards the end? Ralph Cullinan joins us right now. Ralph, that was a really positive race for a number of reasons. You were up there in the lead pack, fighting as the only amateur driver in that pack, but it looked like the last corner there just got away from you with the contact from behind.
Yeah, that was all it was, really. Yeah, nothing more to say on the incident, but that's that's the only way to phrase it, I suppose. It was going great up until that point. So yeah, very disappointing, but hey, race 2's coming, you know. Chin up.
Chin up indeed. And in terms of your confidence sitting behind drivers, this is going to feel like a tactical race, or did it feel, from your view, like a tactical race, that you had to pick and choose the moments when you were trying to go for moves?
Well, it was mostly a case of trying to keep up, tell you the truth, and the toe helped. But yeah, you know, something was always going to happen up front, and it did on a couple of occasions. So, you know, you can always pick up a place there, and that's what normally happens. But unfortunately, you know, things changed right at the end. But yeah, that's basically it. You're just trying to stick with them. Don't make any silly moves. Keep the speed if you can, and then wait for a chance. If you get the chance, take it. That's it.
13-car reverse for race number 2. You'll be starting from 4th position on the grid. How are you looking at attacking the early laps of the race? Because it seems like this is a track where once you get to about turn 2, turn 3, you're all settling back into line again.
Yeah, it's first lap is crazy on the tires, so you got to be careful in every single corner, and sometimes better to go slower than the people around you in certain parts of that corner. You know, you can get a better exit on the cold tires or a different line. But yeah, I'll just hope to survive lap 1 and take it from there. It really takes 2 laps to get them up to speed, as far as I know. So yeah, we'll just play it easy and hopefully we won't die on the first lap and take it from there and just, like you say, join in the train and see what happens.
Well, the floor is yours, Ralph. Shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
The ever expanding Result Clothing team goes from strength to strength and speed to speed. Everyone in the league, fantastic league, really good quality racing most of the time. And you guys for always a great stream. Thank you.
No worries at all there, Ralph Cullinan, 10th position in the end, exactly where he started off in this race. But we're going to step aside for one moment here with your esports broadcasting network. We'll be back with race 2 of 4 tonight after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your UK Sim Racing MX-5 Pro Series here from the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park here in Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada, or at least virtually in this stage. Jake Sperry, of course, here with ESPN, joining along with Sam Cooper-Bennett for the ride. 13-car reverse going towards heat number 2. And for everyone who's looking at how that's going to stack up, it means that Charles Kellyman will be in the driver's seat for that moving forward. So it's always going to be a very interesting point of play. So it's going to be a tough challenge, of course, this second race. We know that drivers like to get a little bit more aggressive at this point. AM category, though, is really where it's at right now here, Sam, because Maxwell and Hansford, there's just 1 point in it.
Absolutely, but they've got to keep an eye over their shoulder because those result cars are looking very, very handy here tonight, and they could really claw back some points on those 2 optical green cars. So watch the space because this is going to get exciting between those 2 teams in the AM category.
I wholeheartedly agree. And it's about clawing back those points and knowing that those points are important between now and the end of the season. As things stand, top 6 drivers in a championship are all part of Pro. The rest, so then the next 2 are AM category as they look to fight for it. But right now it is about patience. A couple drivers still need to, or sorry, just the one driver, I believe. I don't see a Carl Hardy here today. I don't think so. He's still got his penalties to go out there and serve, and I believe Mark Lutz as well I haven't necessarily seen out there on circuit, so he's also got his penalties to serve next time that he races. So aside from that here, really, Sam, no penalties to speak of for race 2. They'll all be on the grid and they'll all be challenging for it here, and the track has heated up quite a fair bit. It's 41 degrees track temp now, so it's going to be a very, very understeery affair.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the afternoon now. 2:46 p.m. is the time. The wind has stayed the same. The air temperature has stayed the same. The track temperature has shot up to a balmy 41 degrees Celsius. So it is very warm out there, albeit a bit cloudy.
Be a little bit cloudy. You are absolutely right, but I got to figure it out. This is not going to be an easy battle by any stretch of the imagination. They know that there are places to be won, and this is the sort of race that would favour the likes of Dan Hunt and Dan Bristow because they are leading the quick drivers through the pack. They will have that opportunity to attack for the race lead first here, Sam, and then get that opportunity to break away. I will correct myself. Carl Hardy is here today and will be serving his pit lane penalty, so he'll be the only driver in this field starting by choice, not by choice, but by force in the pit.
Yeah, and I can't really blame you for not noticing Carl Hardy being here because he was taken out on lap 1 in race 1. So that's all we've seen of him today. But yeah, he's got to serve that penalty, make it up from the back of the field, and hopefully pick up some decent points and not get taken out on lap 1 this time.
Yep. So the final call gets called in server, as is tradition here in the UK Sim Racing MX-5 Pro Series. No words being thrown, so we are going to advance over towards that race in the next couple of moments as the checkered flag gets waved in session, and they will have themselves the time to grid up, and we will go through that grid momentarily here. It is 15 minutes again worth of racing, and very important, keep in mind. Pole position then for Charles Kellyman. Craig Jones will be alongside with Carl Jacquelet and Ralph Cullinan 3rd and 4th. Dan Hunt starts 5th with Peter Van Gool 6th. Daniel Bristow 7th and Anthony Larson 8th. Then it's Martin Sampson, Vincenzo Amico, Jamie Ayers and Pete Newman in 12th position. Andreas Katz, who won race 1, is starting from 13th. Then it's Joe McDonald, Mick Barry, Darrell Wright, Steve Cooley, Steve Hansford, Andy Maxwell, Alan Toon, Andy Littler, Scott Malcolm, Steve Hefford, Roy Viveka, and Carl Hardy. So Heff and Viveka with work to do from the back. But we are already here at race number 2. Let's get ourselves into position then, because we are underway here at Motorsport once again. It's a good, decent start there from Charles Kellyman. Jacquelet as well got a good run here. Craig Jones will have to be careful going through turn 1. Dan Hunt immediately made good progress. So did Peter Van Gool, who got himself a great run. They will go towards Clayton's corner, turn number 2. This is where the bottleneck traditionally goes and finds itself as they funnel through. It's all pretty much everyone making it through at this moment in time. So all one in the wall in the very back. Andy Littler in trouble in the work guard car.
Yeah, and Littler,
Jacqueline as well.
Yeah, Jacquelette's in trouble. Big trouble for Jacquelette. And a fair bit of damage. Got all 4 wheels still on the car, but that bumper is hanging off. And there goes Carl Hardy after starting from pit road. He's just making his way around Littler and Jacquelette. But at the front, Charles Kellyman out to a decent gap already at the front.
Yeah, he is. Look how aggressive it is right now. Sampson on the wrong side of it. And Miko gives a shunt there to Jamie Ayers. Now Pete Newman had a really good run and he just taps the back. Everyone's searching for places here. Peter Van Gool and Dan Hunt seem like they're working together right now. Craig Jones doesn't know what's maybe hit him at this stage as they're going to go freight training past and he's going to try and slot into line. Nope, there is Dan Bristow looking to try and get down to the inside to make something happen. Amiko's going to go for a lunge as well on Ayers as he tries to get the move done that he couldn't do in race number 1. And again, he's on the wrong side of it and he gets checked up.
Yeah, and Ayers able to hold on to the position right now. Here comes Newman on the inside of Samson. Oh, bouncing over the curbs there and almost getting it wrong there, but still on the attack here as they come down towards turn 1. Look at Dan Hunt really searching for Charles Kellyman now, finally able to get this race going after actually getting off the line this time.
And now a move for position as through goes Andreas Katz, getting one done at turn 1. Still has to cover it at 2. Pete Newman's going to be there on the inside and wide a couple lines are going to be as they attack off of the exit. Battle for the lead is on. Through at Quebec goes through Dan Hunt to the race lead. Kellyman slots comfortably there into second position. And now Peter Van Gool and Daniel Bristow are there. And it's the Fantastic Four starting to think about breaking away. Craig Jones, Anthony Larson, 5th and 6th positions as they take the run up to Moss. Bristow around the outside and contact. Round goes Ayers.
And Ayers in trouble, and it's contact with Newman as well. And that's not what Ayers wanted to see, as Mick Barry is right behind him now. And Barry off to a decent start with the P13. But Bristow with the move of the night so far.
Dan Bristow round the outside at Moss. It's not something you traditionally say, and he's immediately going after PVG, Peter Van Gool in the red Momo machine. They're both clawing their way in against Dan Hunt, but again, it's the outside for Dan Bristow. He's trying to run that line effectively. They'll go to the next left, and a bit of contact there. Peter Van Gool gets shuffled out wide. He's going to lose one to Charles Kellyman, and now it's a fight of the 2 Dans once again for the victory, it seems, at this stage. There goes Craig Jones now to the inside. He wants that 4th place back.
Yeah, he does, and he's got the nose in front on the inside, loses quite a little bit as here comes Anthony Larson again, who, in my opinion, has had a very impressive start to the night again, ahead of Vincenzo Amico, diving it down the inside of turn 2. Here comes Amico as well, and I believe Samson's going to look for a move as well. Craig Jones takes 1 step forward, goes about 5 steps back, unfortunately.
And as Sampson had to check, through went Andreas Katz, through went Pete Newman. So both of them getting it done. Craig Jones now really has to be careful on this run to Moss because I'm sure Katz wants to send one up the inside. He's been gearing it up again, but he takes the patient route. Does not want to attack it just yet. Drivers are starting to settle themselves down into rhythms here on lap 3. Wide in the background goes Mick Barry as through goes Ayers. Through then goes Steve Cooley, and now everyone else. Maxwell through. Wright is through. Barry's now got to deal with Joe McDonald, who gets himself a place as he gets himself through. He's loving it.
Yeah, McDonald having a fun debut here tonight, and has to look in his rearview mirror because here comes Roy Vavaker as well, trying to make up for that race 1 retirement. He gets around the outside of barriers. We've got a problem for Pete Newman. Newman into the wall in a big way.
In the tyres, he's in the tyres. It was contact with Jones. He was trying to follow the same line Katz was, but Jones was understeering out a little bit wide. And just like that, the race is over for Pete Newman's challenge, and he will surely be ceding the championship lead over after tonight, unless there are some dramatic changes in the offing. Front 2 away from Kellyman. The gap 1.6 seconds to the leader when they last crossed the line, but we had some great side-by-side. We still do, by the way. Roy Viveka going at it. He's trying to get past Mick Barry, who runs very wide.
And again, the safeguard cars having problems with their pit stops because Carl Hardy bringing it back down pit road again, possibly to put some more fuel in the car. So those safeguard cars still not right with their fuel stops.
No, they certainly aren't, and that's another one that Carl Hardy will not be happy about. The race is effectively a write-off at this point in time. There is no way around it at this stage. Now, Peter Van Gool in 4th position, wants 3rd. He'll want to try and find a way through on the inside if he can, being shadowed by the 2 Ronin Simsport cars, one of whom is Anthony Larson, the other is the reigning champion Vincenzo Amico. It's a little bit of boxing in, and a little shuffle's going to have to be interesting here, and they just about sort each other out. Brilliant heads-up driving there by Charles Kellyman on the binders, avoiding an accident at the cost of now 4 places, because through goes Andreas Katz.
We call him Mr. Clean for a reason. If he sees a situation arising, he's just going to get out of it. And that's exactly what he did. As here comes Dan Hunt now trying to look for a pass on Bristow. Not quite got the room there.
Dan Bristow to the point, and did so with that move on the back stretch in towards turn 8. So Bristow to the lead. Hunt into 2nd position. Van Gool is now very firmly in 3rd. By about half a second out there on track, but Katz is digging, trying to get an advantage, can't find a way past Larson. There's some side-by-side behind that as well at Quebec. Martin Sampson trying to find a way past Ralph Cullinan, and he's going to shuffle him all the way to the outside of the circuit. Ayers also trying to recover.
Yeah, Cullinan getting the elbows out right there as he's making Samson do it the hard way, and Samson does do it the hard way, and that's the reason why he's the Season 1 AM champion. Just absolutely getting it done with these as they come up through Moss, and great move there for the number 80.
A great move, and one that he'll be very, very proud of, but they will again go to fight on the back stretch. The Mario Andretti straight away, and the chance to come back at that move for Cullinan is already upon us, because he is going side by side. He's the only one in the field apart from Dan Hunt, who's just taken the race lead back again into that corner. And Miko with a late lunge to the outside as well, in towards turn number 8. Oh, how close do you want it? They're going to have to sort each other out here. And Larson pretty much nowhere to go as he tries to find and fight. And this is incredible stuff. Now, which way do you want to look and try and get a move? Katz is trying to go for the big lunge to the inside. Don't force your way through like that one, Anthony, as they go through turn 1. This is incredible stuff.
Great racing for these 4. Makes that 5 because Kellyman is still right on the back of these as well as they come through the 2nd corner. Amico able to hold on, but Larson forcing Van Gool right around the outside. Cat's going to sneak through the inside.
Yeah, but he's on the outside for the next corner, and that's the worry. He has to leave the room then, going through the right, and Van Gool can take advantage of this as Katz has to jam on the brakes slightly as the grass was encroaching on him, and that is Van Gool holding on to the position for the moment. The more they fight, the more they will lose the leading 2. They are fighting for a podium at this stage, and again, looks like Dan Bristow's had a really good run, and he might just try and say, you know what, I want the race lead. Let's have it.
Yeah, it's the race for safeguard, just getting from bad to worse as Darrell Wright has a big off and has had to tow it to pit road. Into the grass goes Dan Hunt, meanwhile trying to fight down Bristow, but Bristow able to get that position away. Great move there by the number 12.
I think Dan Bristow knows he's in a race and he doesn't want to jeopardise things. They go through, there's contact, it's Cullinan who's off the road, and I think he saved it. How he's managed to save that and not find tyres, it is beyond belief, but he's almost going to get clattered from behind, and in fact he is going to get clattered from behind because that is Steve Hefford, and both of them effectively tag each other as they go through turn 9.
Yeah, and Hefford might just be okay. Same for Cullinan. Just going to lose a lot of pride and momentum in this one, as that is Hansford now that's going to try and go around Hefford, but very unfortunate for the 72, and especially for Hefford though. Bad start to his race 1, and even, well, almost as bad start to his race 2.
Definitely seems that way, and it's making things a little bit difficult. Van Gool again in the fight, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, trying to open up a move on Anthony Larson, who can effectively go into rear gunner mode here at this moment in time. Up the hill at Moss, through the double set of rights and back onto the Andretti straightaway. Once again, top two are clear. It's going to be very tough to catch them unless they start playing chicken amongst each other out there on track. Great scrap as well, a little bit further down the order. You got Steve Cooley, Joe McDonald, Mick Barry all in a fight. Roy Viveka desperately trying to cling on to it.
Yeah, Cooley out in front for the time being, but McDonald trying to chase him down. Here comes Mick Barry, going to look for a move on McDonald here, and it's going to be on the outside as they come down to the right-hander, and Barry just gets it. I think McDonald just gave it to him then. I didn't really want to see him battle that.
Yeah, that's not a battle for Joe McDonald. He said, no, you've earned that one. You can have it. I'm not going to fight you. And as such, they did not fight. And that will continue on then with their races, maybe prioritising the Zero Inc. Someone who isn't, PVG, again pushing hard because Andreas Katz is there and he's really going to be scoring some big points. Pete Newman, by the way, all the way down in 23rd place, and he is driving around in an absolutely dog car at this stage.
Yeah, and it's damage limitations for the 118. He knows that he's going to lose some serious points to Andreas Katz here in this one, so just wants to make it to the end, get as much as possible, and not have a DNF on his resume.
Yeah, that is definitely the case at this point in time. Dan Hunt has himself eyes on the prize, which is in front of him, but starting to slowly claw away. Second pack's interesting, right? Oh, sorry, third pack, I'd say. You got Ayers, Kellyman, and Sampson there. Craig Jones is desperately trying to cling on to it here, but here comes Kellyman. He's searching for a move, maybe with some encouragement there from Martin Sampson, who is really trying to push him through.
Yeah, two optical cars, green and blue, working together here as they go down the Andretti straight in towards the last couple of corners. Oh, Kellyman! And Ayers almost going side to side, banging doors right there. That's made Kellyman back off, and now Sampson snuck his way through, and here comes Craig Jones as well.
It always looked like disaster. Somehow it wasn't. Vangel's been overtaken now by Andreas Katz, who will attack the Ronin machine out there on circuit. They've got 2 laps to figure it out now. No more, no less. And if they can figure out what is the best way to make the move, then they are sorted. Great scrap, by the way, with Andy Maxwell. Look at Steve Cooley's up and under. He had Barry on the inside of him, and he still went for it, and he's on the outside here into Clayton Corner. Barry's going to send it in deep. There's contact, and Cooley's going to go into the wall, and they're going to all fling off into the grass and somehow keep it out to the tyres.
Yeah, and Cooley, I think, might have got away with that one. Only got some front-end damage, so he can carry on to the end of the race. But that, it just leaves a bit of a bitter taste in your mouth after such a great battle.
Yeah, it really does. And it's something that they have been trying to avoid, but an instant it is at that stage in time. So, focus is there. Have you got what it takes? Still got these 2 contriving battles at this stage. Again, Larson very happy to push Vincenzo Amico around at this stage because it's just keeping the likes of Katz out of range to attack. So that is the plan, and there's also a plan on this last lap for Dan Bristow. Try and hold off Dan Hunt.
Dan Hunt trying to make up for that horrid mistake at the start of race 1 and be looking to definitely make up for it. News on Pete Newman, he's decided to call it right there. He's taking the down pit road and he has retired.
That's a real shame. Couldn't see a way that this was going to work for him, and as such, it's going to get out early before race 3, and it continues here on this final lap. Who can find the moves? Larson is in full defensive mode, and he completely covers off Andreas Katz, who was trying to angle to that inside but couldn't sell it well enough, and he'll try again to use some mirror driving as he goes over towards that very important Moss section. Dan Hunt is in line and is searching for it as well. So not yet from Andreas Katz, not yet from Dan Hunt. Hunt's got an incredible opportunity now. He's going to have to go the long way around if he wants to get it sorted, surely, unless he does want that inside line, and he's going to try and angle towards it here. That's the door left open by Dan Bristow. I'm surprised that he has left that door open. He's trying to pinch him all the way to that inside and try and general him to that inside point. And you know what? It's as late as you can move over to that inside for turn number 8. Cat's still trying. He can only get alongside. Bristow's going to shuffle out then in the struggles as he understeers through the final couple corners. Dan Hunt played him well. There's troubles behind as round goes Katz and Larson, but it's a win for Dan Hunt as he gets it over and sorted. And there's more dramas as Katz gets absolutely battered as he goes through. Unbelievable. Kellyman's going to get a huge result out of this.
That he is, and a great start, and it's all started with Katz trying to move on Larson. Larson just not giving him the room at all, and it all went around, and there is the contact. Kellyman was the one that got into him, but that won't bother Kellyman too much, but he'll cross the line for a nice top 5 here.
He certainly will, and Andreas Katz is just going to hold off Ralph Cullinan. That is P15 in the end for Andreas Katz. That is not what he would have been expecting coming towards the line. He had driven such a great race, and contact as they went through the final couple corners has completely undone it here today. So, race 2 in the books. Before we go over to our classified results, once again, we're going to be heading over to that spinning wheel. We're going to spin, see what the grid will stack up for race 3, as that will be coming up in just a little bit. Let's spin the wheel.
And it's number 14 this time.
So an extra grid position reversed. It will be 14 cars on the reverse grid. It will put Steve Hefford on the pole position for that one on a topsy-turvy day with a topsy-turvy result. But Dan Hunt picked up the victory in 15 minutes, 36 seconds, and did so by 5/10 over Daniel Bristow in second. Vincenzo Amico finished third with Peter Van Gool in fourth, and Charles Kellyman managing to still pick up a top 5, getting around all of the dramas late. It was Craig Jones who ended up with 6th, and Martin Sampson in 7th. Jamie Ayers ends up in 8th, with Anthony Larson in 9th place. It is then Andy Maxwell who rounds out the top 10, with Mick Barry in 11th, Joe McDonald in 12th, Roy Viveka 13th, and it's Steve Hefford who will be on the pole in the number 72 car in 14th place. Andreas Katz just misses out because of that. He will start from 15th, with Ralph Cullinan, Steve Cooley, Steve Hansford, and Alan Toon making up to 19th. Scott Malcolm rounding out the top 20. Last 3 finishers being Carl Hardy, Carl Jackalette, 2 different spellings of Carl, by the way, and Andy Littler. Darrell Wright, 1 lap down after all of the troubles that he had. And then, of course, Pete Newman will have to go from the very back in race number 3 here today. But dramas, of course, flowing and pouring out of the ears. There is only one driver that I want to talk about, and it's the driver who really profited off of that last lap incident, Charles Kellyman, with me right now. Charles, starting on pole is always a difficult challenge. You know that there's a hungry pack of drivers who want to get past you from behind, and it looked like there were a couple of moments in that race which were very sketchy, especially the one where you had to completely hit the brakes before going into turn 8.
Yeah, I don't like starting on pole, especially on the track as hot as it was on that last race. I could hear a lot of people saying, you know, how slippery it was. So I was just really taking my time, but I kept my nose clean as much as I could, kept ahead as long as I could. But yeah, the faster cars caught me pretty quickly, and yeah, but it was an interesting race, it really was.
An interesting race, and interesting as well that you put yourself in such a strong position there, because late on we saw that incident between, I believe it was Larson and also Andreas Katz.
Yes.
How do you pick your way through that? Was it something that just opened up for you, or were you really having to be alert to where those gaps were going to form?
I could just see it in my distance as I was coming up to the penultimate turn. And I slowed right up, and then unfortunately, Martin in front of me got caught, and I really tried to avoid Martin, and in doing that, I managed to get through it, but I did have to slow up quite a lot just to avoid any accidents, any wreckages. So yeah, I got lucky, I think, on that one.
Well, luck very much there on your side, but let's talk the next race because you had a really good result. It's a 14-car reverse for you, so you're going to be, I believe, just on the fringes, if not starting 10th or 9th position on the grid. So for you, in the mid-pack, where you'd like to be, so to speak?
Yeah, I don't mind being mid-pack. The faster guys will make their way through. For me, as I said before, it's about keeping my nose clean and finishing the races. If I can finish in the top 10, I'll be happy with that. But in races, anything can happen. So let's see how it goes.
We will see indeed. Before we let you go here, Charles, shout out sponsors. Anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, all the optical team as usual. Mick Barry for doing what he does for setting up these sessions each week. I know he has a bit of issues sometimes, but it seems to be going pretty well so far. And of course, you guys for putting on the stream, which I'll probably be up until midnight watching later on. So yeah, thanks.
No worries at all. Charles Kellyman there coming home ultimately with a really strong result then to put it in the books. We're going to step aside once again here with ESBN, your esports broadcasting network. We'll be back with race 3 after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your UK Sim Racing MX-5 Pro Series. This is the third race of 4 tonight, and this is the time where drivers look around and go, okay, well, if the first 2 races haven't gone good, I've got to really pull something out here in this race 3. A 14-car reverse on top of that, and very topsy-turvy for the top of the championship as well. So a lot of work to come in to find those points, that consistency, drive, and value over the course of this. And Pete Newman, there in that race, Sam, really did end an important streak. He had 4 straight podiums and 3 straight second-place finishes.
Yeah, and it was just one small mistake that undid it all. And retirement in race 2 lost him that championship lead, and Andreas Katz now leading by 33 points. That has got to be a bitter pill to swallow right now.
It really will be, and it's that bitter pill that I'm sure will be driving one Mr. Newman through this race 3, as he will have to go from the back of the field. But there have been some surprises up and down the order in terms of who is where in the championship right now. Vincenzo Amico very far down, 112 points back at this point in time, 11th overall. This is a league that is very much punishing on retirements. If you retire, you're in trouble in terms of your points count. So I think this is the sort of position that you'd have to say, well, just try and make sure you can get it to a finish. Otherwise, you're going to be in a world of trouble.
Yeah, and another driver that retired near the end there was Darrell Wright as well. He's having a tough start to his UK sim racing career, but hopefully he can pick it up in the 3rd race. The Safeguard team still not quite up to scratch here in their debut season.
No, they're not quite there just yet, and we've been focusing on points and results. Darrell Wright, for example, has had no finish higher than 16th so far, which is a little bit disappointing, but we'll see whether that can be recovered out there through this race number 3. But let's talk about this track a little bit at this point in time. It has cooled back down significantly again, so it's going to be back as it was in race 1. But the focus is going to be all about how do you keep yourself on a calm trajectory. We know that this is racing quick, and we've seen a lot of drivers get eyes bigger than the belly syndrome, go for a move that's just not on.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you get in that draft on the exit of Moss and the run down the Mario Andretti straight into those final 3 corners, you can get a bit overzealous and try a big move there, but doesn't always work out, as we saw at the end of race 2. Unfortunately, Ralph Cullen and a couple of other drivers falling victim to that one.
Yeah, a couple of drivers have found themselves in trouble. Pete Newman was one of them. There's a hang on a sec then in terms of moving over the session, so we're not all quite happy, safe, and secure in the understanding that we can go racing yet in race number 3. Of course, you can see on the timer in stream that we've got about 9 minutes of hard count time, so to speak, before we absolutely must race. But that is just in case we need drivers to jump in, drivers to be ready, and drivers to be comfortable enough that they can get themselves going and get themselves into place. So it looks like Carl Hardy as well might be having some issues, so there'll be questions on that as well. But Sam, you know, these are the sort of things that we look at. There are delays before the starts of races. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And it's just one of those things where, for example, you get a category that gets red flag. For example, in the real world, it's no different to that the start time gets delayed a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. It could be drivers just dropping in late. We had that last week, the week before, well, the time before that, during the last race of the season, we had technical issues and they delayed the start of the race for that. So it could be a number of things, and thankfully we haven't had that so far, but a bit of a delay here right now.
Yeah, it certainly does seem that way. I believe for Carl Hardy, he's gone to correct something out there. Reminds me of a story, actually, about 4 engineers who jumped into a car once. The car wouldn't start. There was an electrical engineer who said that there was a fault in the wires. That wasn't exactly what the problem was. There was some, I believe, words forget me right now, which is really kind of embarrassing. But there was a different kind of engineer out there who thought that it was the motor that wasn't going. It was not quite that. Then there was a case of a chemical engineer who said that there were impurities in the fuel. That wasn't it. And apparently the IT engineer said if they all got out and got back in again, then the problem would fix itself.
Oh, the wonders of sim racing. A great story there. I love that. But yeah, the great thing about sim racing, if you find a problem with your car, just jump out, jump back in again. It's as easy as that.
It certainly is, and we find that out there in sim racing. It's always a joy to behold, but it's that beholden joy that we wait and strive for here. If you haven't had the chance to already, you're here for the first time with us, the UK Sim Racing MX-5 Pro Series, and of course ESPN, the Esports Broadcasting Network. You can like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content brought to you by the team here as we get ourselves figured out and ready for action pretty soon. And hopefully we're all going to be okay. We believe it is a turn it off and on again with the router for Carl Hardy. And once he gets back, we are going to be in position, I believe, to go out there and race. But there are some surprises, some would say, in the championship right now in terms of who has really clawed some good points up and has been doing that good, solid job over the course of the action we have seen. And the big two that I'm looking at here are Martin Sampson and Peter Van Gool. Two very similar drivers out there on track, really, Sam, and two drivers who could go out there and do exactly what they need to.
Yeah, Viveka probably the safest of the two. He likes to stay out of that state of trouble normally. Samson does like to get his elbows out, but always with a added bit of caution. But still two very capable of drivers. They were like that in season 1 with the Automech team. Now with Optical doing the same thing, and it's helping their team. They ran away with the team's championship last season, all mainly because Samson and Viveka were just keeping it safe out there and just racking up the points.
Oh, they absolutely were. And it's those points that they consistently got which drew them over the line for that team's championship. And it might just be the most ideal situation for them if they can repeat the feat over the course of this season. 5 different race winners we've had here, Sam, in the opening 6 races. Dan Hunt, the only 2-time winner so far. Yeah,
good start for him, but doesn't reflect it in the points at the moment, unfortunately. But he's got there's still a long way to go. I mean, next week at Laguna Seca, we're looking forward to that one. That one's going to be absolute. It's going to be absolute chaos, especially through that corkscrew, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Laguna Seca, even at the best of times, is going to be difficult, especially as a free circuit out there. Checkered flag comes out then in practice. We are ready to go over towards racing in the 3rd round of tonight, the 7th of the championship overall. And the grid is going to be then as follows as they look to set themselves up. Steve Hefford will be on the pole position with Roy Viveka alongside. Then it's Joe McDonald and Mick Barry. Andy Maxwell will go from 5th with Antti Larsen and Jamie Ayres. Martin Sampson goes from 8th place with Craig Jones 9th and Charles Kellyman in 10th. Following that, Peter Van Gool, Vincenzo Amico, Daniel Bristow, and Dan Hunt. Then it's Andreas Katz, Ralph Cullinan, Steve Cooley, Steve Hansford, Alan Toon, Scott Malcolm, Carl Hardy, Carl Jackalette, Andy Littler, Darryl Wright, and Pete Newman from the back of the grid. They know better than anybody else. They have a minute to grid up. They know it's a 10-lap race. It is now going to be on time constraint that they will try and figure things out, or it was on time constraint. It's now on lap constraint to make sure they figure everything. Waiting on Antti Larsen to take to the grid. And then we are all ready to get things sorted out here today. Welcome to the party if you're brand new. It looks like Antti Larsen will miss the grid and will have to go. Oh, he's just got on in the nick of time. He has just got on. Lights on here at Motorsport. Round 3. Hefford from the pole. We are underway and racing. It's a good, clean start as they go through. Good start from Maxwell. Already challenging Mick Barry for that position. Sweeping into turn number 1. Bit of contact between the two. Now you got Ayers trying to fight hard with Larson as they go through. Hefford's got the great start that he was certainly looking for, but it's all about that charge through the field. Who is going to find some places here and there as they sweep through Clayton's corner for the first time, and it is going to be nice and smooth. All cars have made it through.
A couple of cars on the grass, though. That was Barry and Ayers on the grass coming out of Clayton's as they come through this long right-hander now. As Hefford getting out to a lead with Baker in second. Good start for Joe McDonald as well. Already up there, is held on to that P3 now and still staying with the top two. But look at Anthony Larson threatening once again in P4.
We got 3 wide as well. Van Gool, you've got Bristow, you've got Amico. Barry's almost lost the car entirely. Coming out of that section, he's going to lose an abundance of positions as he tries to get back up to speed. Disaster for Mick. And now, here comes Larson against Joe McDonald. And this should be plain sailing on this overtake. And he breezes on through. That is a wonderful, wonderful pass as they will now continue in towards the next right-hander. Still some 2 wide. Martin Sampson making progress. He's through on Maxwell.
Good move there by Sampson. Wanted that from the start. And finally gets it right behind them. Vincenzo Amico is up for it as well. He's already looking to the back of Maxwell coming through the final corner here. And not too far behind him once again is Craig Jones right up there in that AM category.
Yeah, it really is. Craig Jones having a really good time here at Motorsports as they enter the first corner and exit and run over towards turn 2. Here comes Larson down the inside at Clayton's. He'll try and send it on Roy Viveka, who loves to be a clean driver. Going to leave all the space in the world and say, you go chase after Heff, I'll follow in your wheel tracks, potentially, as they go now into Quebec. Turn number 3. Great scrap behind, though. Katz and Bristow make slight contact. That's going to allow Dan Hunt then the chance to try and sneak one up the inside. Peter Van Gool, PVG, doing a lot of good defending at this point in time. This is some incredible stuff here. Nice and clean throughout the packs. All 25 still going here on lap 2 as they enter this section of road and try and get as much turning as possible. As a big one.
Yeah, Steve Cooley just riding over the back. I believe that might have been Ralph Cullinan he got into. It was, and that was a huge and scary incident for Cooley and Cullinan. Both of them, I'm amazed they're able to keep going right now.
Yeah, just rode over the front there of the bonnet did Steve Cooley. Cooley able to keep the car going by some level of measure, but not the way that they wanted that one to go. Just a lapse it seemed, and there was the change, and that's how quickly it can all go wrong in sim racing. McDonald having to defend. Sampson was searching to the outside briefly. Struggles there of turn in from Joe McDonald, and Sampson's got this one sorted. Block pass, a little bit of contact as he goes through the corner. That brings Vincenzo Amico into play, and he's going to easily saddle on by and gain that place as Sampson can't shut the door on him.
No, he can't, as there goes Maxwell around McDonald as well. Not quite got the pass done though. Here comes McDonald into the second corner, and McDonald almost getting it wrong, and that's left him in the clutches of Bristow and Jones now. 3 wide into turn 3.
Oh, and contact from behind. Peter Van Gool tags, and there's the tank slapper. A little bit more help from Van Gool. Joe McDonald did not deserve that, and ultimately he ends up on the wrong side. There's been a change to the lead. Hefford loses out. Larson now takes command. Jamie Ayers now in this group of 4, and now you've still got Sampson versus Amicos. They fight 5th and 6th. And Maxwell turned by Bristow, and a huge chain reaction.
Yeah, Katz involved in that one. Looks like Hunt got a piece of it as well. Big hit there, and Maxwell on the back foot. Looks like he might have a bit of a puncture there. He's a bit left hand down at the front there. Problems for the AM category leader.
Yeah, problems, big problems there as Hefford goes back to the outside, really trying to pressure Larson out there as they go door to door through turn 8 at 9, trying to make the big send around the outside. That's not going to work. You can't lean on him like that there. And ultimately, Hefford back to the race lead, only for the briefest of moments, though, at this point in time. What an incredible pack Pete Newman finds himself in, by the way. He's just managed to get around Jones and Katz and Van Gool and Scott Malcolm's in there. Barry, Hunt, Jacqueline, they're all there.
Yeah, Newman up 16 spots already from the very back of the field. Newman is on a charge. Do not count out. That's one has bit Barry into the wall.
He caught the wall on the inside of all places there. as they went through. Not the way you want it to all figure. And disasters already going. Still too wide for the race lead. It might be too wide for third behind as well. So Viveka has Jamie Ayres all over the back, trying to figure out which way you're going to go. Ayres trying to go up here on the inside. Is this going to be all sorted and plain sailing? It absolutely is. Amico's drifting behind to try and get there. Hefford runs a bit wide, and this will be perfect pickings for Anthony Larson to lap up the race lead.
Yeah, down the Mario Andretti straight. Here comes Larson now. He can taste a victory if he can get it right here. Contact between the two. Down Mario Andretti straight, and can Larson, he's actually had to back out of that one, but now going to send it into the right-hander here. It's going to be very close between the two. And like I said, Larson can taste the win here if he can actually get it all sorted.
He can taste it, but he knows that he's got to fight hard because he's got 6 more laps to do to get himself into that place. Now up into third is the teammate of Steve Hefford, Jamie Ayres, who's going to be trying to figure out which way is the correct way to gain those spots around a draft-dependent circuit like this one. There are no guarantees when you race in this series that you have got the result in the back pocket. And again, a little look from Larson. He's trying to attack hard here, bring back in Amico, and have Amico maybe have a stab and a challenge, because this is exactly the prime pickings that Car 78 wants as reigning champ.
That he does, and he needs those points desperately, as he's had a poor start already this season, and he's got Samson right behind him as well. And don't look too far behind, because there is a very threatening presence right there in the form of Dan Bristow.
Oh, there is, and we know how quick Bristow can be as he dives through Amico with a big lunge on Roy Viveka, who quietly gets out of the way. This is a perfect race here for that optical blue team. They are 5, 6, and 7 at this point. Sorry, I will correct. Yes, they are 5, 6, and 7 in this race right now, and they must be feeling Boyd, and Katz is in trouble. Katz is in trouble over at turn number 4 at Moss. He's come together with one of the work guard cars. It's Alan Toon.
Yeah, and just when you thought he got that championship lead away from Pete Newman, it's going to fall away once again. Newman already back up into the top 10 in P8 right now, as Larson challenging for the lead here, looking around the outside of the final turn. Big move there by the 99 as he goes around the outside and will take the lead at the line.
Yes, but now here comes Ayres, and he's going to be followed by Amico here from being in the lead, entering the final corner, exiting turn 1. He doesn't even have a podium right now, does Steve Hefford. That's brutal as he goes through in towards that section of road there. Turn 2, Clayton's corner, and down the hill the challenge. Here comes the attack now from Martin Sampson, leading the next line as they go in towards the next section of road at Quebec. And at the moment, it's going to be a case of just stay calm. You've got that long straight yet, and Jamie Ayres wants the move.
Yeah, he does, and Ayres already on the back of Larson as they come down on the run up towards Moss, and Ayres going to dive it in there into Moss, but here comes Amico around the outside as well. Big attack there from the reigning champion.
It's a big attack, but it's just that, an attack. It wasn't effective as he tried to get that sorted. It gives a little bit of gap to Anthony Larson, but just a little bit, and that train will serpentine as it tries to follow in the wheel tracks of those in front. So is there going to be some bravery to try and make the move? They're all going to close up in on each other, and the tow really, really strong. Ayres now's got to try and pick a lane, and he's going to be boxed in here. He's really boxed in. He's boxed in, and there goes Amico into the off-stroke turf and go. And Ayres now going to slide. There was contact there. Round goes Ayres. He's in the tyres.
Yeah, Ayres is done. That is going to help. That's, well, competitively his race is done. As there goes Newman. There goes Van Gool. Big damage on the right-hand side of the left-hand side of that number 46. He's got to tiptoe his way to the end of the race now.
Yeah, and hopefully not like Valentino at the end of this season. He'll hope not to retire, but at least this stage, he knows he's in a race. Carl Hardy and Scott Malcolm just behind, racing incredibly hard, then 4th position. What a great race those drivers have had. 20th and 21st, they're up into 11th and 12th.
Yeah, Malcolm, great run for him. He's leading the AM category right now, and this will be his first AM category win if he can hold on. Still a long way to go here. 4 laps seems like not a lot, but it's a long way for these drivers, as anything can happen between now and then. He's right behind Jamie Ayres, who's still tiptoeing that car around the track with that damage on it.
Oh he is. Bit of contact between Bristow and Sampson, and Amico's just gone plain round the outside of Roy Vervaeke with a fantastic move. So at the front, it's still continuing to be interesting as Hardy again looks to line up the Scotsman, Scott Malcolm, for a bit of position. Further forward, Amico's got his eyes set on Dan Bristow, trying to go to the outside and pinch him as low as he can possibly dare as they go wing mirror to wing mirror on the run to turn number 8. Can they sort it around the outside? Still searching for it though, but he'll get the inside at turn number 9, for better or for worse. He sends it on in. Bit of contact as they go through, and 2 elite wheelers right now still trying to figure out their place.
Yeah, that was great car handling by both drivers, going completely sideways through the final 2 corners and able to hold on to it. Has lost them a bit of ground on Martin Sampson, but they were going to try and get it back regardless, but they're still fighting amongst each other as Amico looking through turn 2 to the inside. Vervaeke just sitting back and enjoying the show with a nice bucket of popcorn.
Oh, he absolutely is. And someone who's not enjoying the show right now is Andreas Katz. He's just had another bit of a bump with one of the safeguard cars. It was Joe McDonald, and he's now racing Dan Hunt there all the way at the back. They are 22nd and 23rd in this race. They have it all to do in race number 4. But again, the front 6, which becomes the key. Lap 8, they'll have 2 to go at the line. I wonder how much patience Steve Hefford is showing here with Anthony Larson in the number 99. He's not doing anything to be too aggressive. He's not doing anything to be too defensive. He's just going at this stage, and very much he's just very, very stable. Is this the move that he looks to try and get to the race lead with? He's going to go to the outside to try and figure out if he has got exactly what he wants out of it. He does for the moment, but Larson's covering every stage of the way. Turn 9's the big crucial one as they go through the big wide line. Leads up to 10. And if you were brave, you might have forced it 3 wide. But again, they're going to fight all the way off the exit.
Yeah, look at Bristow pushing Sampson all the way through the final corner there. That's going to give Bristow the inside line going in towards turn 1 on his teammate. As still side by side between Larson and Hefford. Bristow now to third, and he's looking for the race win now.
Which way do you want to go here, Dan? Looking for the insiders, washing out a little bit. Goes Anthony Larson. Larson's not giving this one up, though, nor is Steve Hefford here, who takes that natural line in towards turn number 3 of Quebec. Again, Dan Bristow proves to be a menace. And look at this on the exit. Vincenzo Amico gets a stormer through Quebec. Now Martin Sampson's got to really pick and choose here which way he wants to go. They're going to lean on each other here as they take the rise up in towards Moss, and these two again having a great battle, and still it's going to be Amico finding the move.
A great move by Amico, now finds himself right behind his teammate. Now it's all about teamwork here. Can they get to the back of Hefford before it's too late here? We are coming very close to the white flag as here comes Larson with another move around the outside.
No surprises there. Hefford would have been a sitting duck on that run, and he's really trying to pinch there, be a track general as they go through. He doesn't want to give anything, still as he goes through the corner. Side by side, they almost make contact there. A little bit of a wiggle over the curb from Steve Hefford. He knows what he's got. He's pushing through the corner. He's pushing through the corner. Somehow it's saved. And here comes Bristow looking for the race lead.
Out of nowhere, Bristow looking for it. I did say earlier on in the race he was looking very threatening as they come in towards turn 1. And now the dynamic has changed completely. It's between Bristow and Amico for the win now.
Oh, almost contact as they go towards turn number 2. Amico tries to open it up on the inside here. This is incredible stuff from these drivers they go through. Hefford in 3rd, Sampson in 4th, Vervaeke is there in 5th, and again to the outside searching is Amico as Hefford now starts to think about, can he go for a way down the inside? He can't quite figure out the way that it's going to work just yet, but Bristol's going to have to hope there's some more fighting here all the way forward. Amico allows himself just enough room as on the brakes he tries to go deep. Sampson is going to try around the outside. He's in position though for Andretti, and the runs for 8, 9 and 10 all the way to White's corner that finishes off the race. Still though, Bristow's got to be alert to the defence. We've seen it time and again. every position has mattered so far, and it will continue to do so on this run. Amico's going to have to go the long way. He thought about the inside. It's not there. He almost made contact there with the rear, and Hefford's now going to try and find a way through. He's got to check up. Samson's going to think about the outside now. And here comes the look from Amico. He doesn't quite have enough of a pivot, though, to that inside at 9. He's going to send it anyway. Little bit of rubbing there as they go through. Contact front to rear as they go through. Amico's got turned. Bristow's going to survive to tell the tale. Samson's in the wall as well. Hefford with the contact made it. Bristow takes the win. And it is a sorry sight for Amico and for Samson.
Yeah, Amico out, Samson out at the line, both of them severely damaged, and they're just going to fall down the table. But Bristow going to be happy with that win, was on the back foot at the start, made it 12 places, and I called it early on in the race. He was looking very threatening. He proved that here in this third race.
Oh my word, he did, and he did everything and a bit more for it. What a wonderful drive from Daniel Bristow, and this is how you get seasons back on track with results like this one. Few drivers still making their charges over towards the line, the likes of Andreas Katz and co. That make it over. There were dramas up and down the order, but before we go to classified results, we are going to, for the final time tonight, spin that wheel, see where everyone is going to end up, and see what that final grid is going to be stacking up and looking like.
They're going at one more position. It's 15.
15 this time. So 13, 14, 15. Reverses. That means that the cleanest driver that we've seen so far this season, Steve Hansford, will be on the pole position for that one. That's going to be a really interesting battle. A lot of drivers going for everything they possibly can. Daniel Bristow, though, gets the result. 15 minutes, 35 seconds, wins by 9/10 in the end over Steve Hefford, who made contact through the final corner. Roy Viveka finishes up on the podium then in third position. Those drivers started first and second, those who finished second and third. Anthony Larson gets fourth with Pete Newman, 25th to 5th in that race. A big result for the 118, with Peter Van Gool finishing 6th, Carl Hardy in 7th, and Jamie Ayers there in 8th place. 9th would belong to Charles Kellyman, with Scott Malcolm rounding out the top 10. Carl Jacquelet finishes off in 11th, a gain of 11 places, with Ralph Cullinan in 12th. Darrell Wright finishes off in 13th, with Steve Cooley 14th. Steve Hansford will take the pole for the final race tonight. He goes from 15th, or finishes 15th, a gain of 3. Mick Barry, 16th overall. Tough love there in that race, along with Andreas Katz, Craig Jones, and Joe McDonald, the last finisher on the lead lap. Retirees are a lap down. Vincenzo Amico and Martin Sampson, Alan Toon, Dan Hunt, Andy Littler, and Andy Maxwell on top of that to boot. So those are the drivers who all found themselves in certain situations out there overall. We are going to drag a driver in for interview with us, and well, who better than Steve Hefford after that last lap incident. Steve, it was always going to be difficult, that final stage. They were starting to battle and get aggressive. It looked like you just didn't find a lane.
Yeah, I'm just watching it back now. It was really messy because I still didn't know what had happened until just now. But I know the guys in front came together, and I lifted and tapped the brake, and Martin just tapped the rear of me into Vincenzo, and then it was just not the way you want it to end, really, because it was a cracking race up to that point.
Absolutely was. And for you, you know, you're putting yourself into a position where your eyes are on the team's championship, picking up points as you go, making sure that the finishes are definitely of the utmost importance. How tough of it has it been for a start of a season to you? You've got 2 DNFs to your name, and that your first podium of the season. So how's it figuring out in your mind that, you know, you've got to effectively put a good result in for the team, knowing that you're in this long-haul championship that you've won before?
Yeah, I mean, the reason we didn't come top in the teams last week was because of my DNF, you know what I mean? So it very much is a team game, and you're always sort of conscious of wanting to finish every race. But I mean, that my first DNF here with Anthony Larson. Well, literally, I was on the outside of him at turn 1, and our wing bar is touched, and it threw me off into the scenery, you know. So You can't really account for stuff like that, really. But it's just unfortunate. But it's the same. It's a level playing field for everyone. So sometimes you just got to take it on the chin.
The level changes again. 15-car reverse. You'll go from 14th on the grid. A big charge then is going to be needed for you because there's a lot of drivers behind you who are very much out of position.
Yeah, I mean, I've done quite a bit of practice here and I've got some decent pace. I just don't think I've really had a chance to show it. But my set, I changed just before we started the race, thinking it would be better. But I can see the Ronin guys definitely have got a better set on the car. You can tell they got better entry and stuff. So makes it a bit interesting. But it's a great track. This straight on the back is just long enough to not quite get past. So makes for some good racing in the last few corners.
It certainly does. Before we let you go here, shout out sponsors. Who would you like to thank?
Just the team, guys, everybody who has anything to do with helping out to run the league and all the guys who take part and make it what it is, to be honest. And then, of course, you guys.
No worries at all. Steve Hefford there, second position, but dramas over towards the end of that to deal with on top of it. For the final time tonight, we're going to step aside for one more moment here, ladies and gentlemen. Final race, race 4 here at Motorsport comes up next. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time tonight to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, to the Esports Broadcasting Network, and to this beautiful, beautiful UK Sim Racing MX-5 Pro Series. Been a really weird night, this 21st night of September. I'm not sure anyone's really capitalised on it in its entirety here, Sam, but really what you can say about racing today is that it's been unpredictable, and that's what this series is all about.
Yeah, and that's what we absolutely love here, and it's all about twists and turns, and not just on the racetrack either. It's all about twists and turns in the championship as well. Andreas Katz somehow able to hold on to the points lead despite that poor race, and only by that race finish that he's been able to hold on. Peter Van Gool moves up to second place in the pro category as well, and Steve Hansford and Alan Toon sitting 1 and 2 in the AM category.
That certainly helps them out. They'd absolutely love that in terms of their battle. Hansford has been Mr. Clean. Only 8 incidents over the first 7 races. He picked up a 4X in that one. Alan Toon has just been quietly going about business, and that's been good enough at this point in time. So now it becomes a really important battle. How do you manage to pick up those points, those all-important points, at the end of today, and you focus on Laguna Seca coming up, a track which everybody knows. It's going to be an interesting little race, I think, but it's going to be one which is predicated on the top 15 being in a really nice position.
Yeah, and it's going to be the same race 4 chaos that we've all been become used to. Hansford on the pole, and you got all the big hitters at the back. They're going to be trying to make their way through as quickly as possible. It is just going to be one heck of a race, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well, and I'm sure that everyone else is watching here on YouTube. If you haven't had the chance to already, there's a like, there's a share, there is a subscribe for more amazing content brought to you by the team here at your Esports Broadcasting Network. We stream a whole heap of everything that you are very much more than welcome to keep your eyes on. But the focus here is going to be on now, and what can you get out of now? Laguna Seca, we know, is a track which everybody knows, but now the question is, what can you do with that knowledge? How will this change from week to week? How will this change later on down the line? A track which everybody knows, you feel like it's going to be more skill-based at Laguna Seca. Who's going to take that one?
Yeah, it's a very, very deceiving track, though. It's very treacherous, especially through the double camber, double apex turn 1. The 2 right-handers straight after that. Then you've got that sweeping left-hander up the hill, and that obviously the world-famous corkscrew they've got to negotiate their way around. It is going to be one heck of a incident-filled race, and I am definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be a special one next week.
It absolutely is, and I am looking forward to it. On top of that, we're still waiting for the steward's decision before we are able to get this final race off and ready. There's always that waiting period that we have, but I'm sure everyone knows that this is not for the faint of hearted here in terms of the battles that we have seen. And this has been a track that's been pretty unforgiving in terms of the way that it's been going about business today. A lot of drivers have been caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that has brought them into all sorts of trouble. And it's going to be a real quest to see who is going to get the absolute most out of tonight. We're going to get the checkered flag in the next couple of seconds here. Checkered flag is now out. We are going to go over towards that race, that all-important final race here of tonight, race 8 of 48 that we have going forward. So let's take a little look at where they stack up on the grid. It's Steve Hansford and Steve Cooley, and all Steve front row, with Darryl Wright going from 3rd, Ralph Cullinan 4th, and it's Carl Jackalette and Scott Malcolm 5th and 6th. Charles Kellyman goes 7th, Jamie Ayres in 8th, Carl Hardy 9th, and Peter Van Gool rounding out the top 10. Then it's Pete Newman, Anthony Larson, Roy Viveka, and Steve Hefford, of course, with Daniel Bristow, the race winner from last time, Mick Barry, Andreas Katz, Craig Jones, Joe McDonald, Vincenzo Amico, Martin Sampson, Alan Toon, Dan Hunt, Andy Littler, Andy Maxwell from the back there, P25. Everything to play for here, nothing to lose for some. Lights on at Motorsport. We are ready, and we are racing here as they get themselves going. It's a nice start there from the second row. Ralph Cullen's immediately going to get alongside Darryl Wright as they make that run through that passing turn number 1, that big right-hander out on track. They'll go to Clayton's corner. I need to figure it out early. Big sliding there from Steve Cooley, able to hang it together, but as they go through, they're almost 4 wide in the middle of the pack as they go through. They are 3 wide in the middle, and Jacquelette's going to go straight on.
Big incident for Jacquelette, and it's into the tyre barrier for him and possibly race over. He looks like he's stuck in there as well. He's looking at Pete Newman making his way through the field, working around the outside of Peter Van Gool right now. Those two going to be challenging each other because they are in a championship fight as well. Van Gool hasn't had the most interesting finishes tonight, but still managed to point his way up into second place. Points leader right now, Andres Katz, stuck in, where is he? Down in P14 right now, struggling to get around Mick Barry and Roy Viveka.
Darryl Wright also got caught up with it. Battle for the lead. Steve Hansford and Ralph Cullinan side by side, and Cullinan goes to the point then. So he gets the move 3 wide in the middle as we got Newman, we got Kellyman, we got Larson. They're all there. Hardy and Hefford having a little look around. So too will be Dan Bristow pretty soon, mark my words. Big lunge for third place though. Jamie Ayers trying to get the move done. Steve Cooley now finding himself getting absolutely mullered at this stage. From pillar to post, there's a big one, and it's going to be Larson and Hardy in the wall.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see from Larson. Has had 3 good races so far, and race 4 seems to have gone by the wayside. Carl Hardy, this would just be a week he'd sooner forget, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Vincenzo Amico, by the way, looks like he had a hit going into, or had some trouble going through the penultimate few corners. He got a massive tap onto one of the work guard cars, and he is in the pits right now. So Amico, his championship challenge is in big jeopardy already as he tries to retain. Got 2 wide, 2 deep in the middle of the pack though. You got Katz and Bristow along with Kellyman and Hefford side by side as they go through. It is still Ralph Cullen who leads. Ayers is second. Cooley is third. Van Gool's fourth, and Pete Newman's fifth with 4 wide. And it's trouble. There's trouble. There's big trouble. Everyone's going to be around.
Yeah, there's Bristow, Kellyman. Bristow might have just battered it into the wall, and we've still got trouble. That's Craig Jones in trouble as well. And it's all kicking off on this 4th race as expected, as Kellyman's still trying to recover.
Hansford as well. They're all trying to get around, and it was the secondary bit. It was Craig Jones who spun the car on the grass that caused even more dramas as they went through. So disaster up at Moss Corner. Where does that leave everybody? They're still fighting 3-4 wide. Maxwell almost turned to Andreas Katz on the back stretch there. So Mick Barry and Andreas Katz going side by side. I'm not sure if there's trouble. There's more as round in front of Newman. That's Steve Cooley.
Yeah, and the Ronin Simsport cars are just falling apart here in this final race of the night. First it started with Larson, then Amico, now it's Cooley. Ronin are having a torrid time now.
They are. Ralph Cullinan not giving up second though as he fights with Pete Newman. 118 Pure Sims Esports wants to have a really good go here. PVG back there in 4th position is just doing what he's done all of these seasons so far. Consistency is king. And now as they go through the right, and it's a little bit of a misnomer from Ralph Cullinan as he had to double check through the corner. Newman gets it opened up then to the outside. He'll have the inside going into the big right-hander up the hill here at Motorsport. He'll try and get himself through. And ultimately, this should be plain sailing. Cullinan does not fight it.
Yeah, very easily done through Moss right there as they go on to the Mario Andretti straight now. And now, you know, Newman's going to be off in search of that first place with Jamie Ayres just up ahead in front of him.
He absolutely is, and it's going to be a very, very telltale sign that this race is going to be down to who can last it, who can make some really good moves. Jamie Ayres got the moves done early, gained the places to give himself the gap. Pete Newman's going to be in defensive mode for a long time. Scott Malcolm in a great scrap, by the way, with Steve Hefford. So what can the Scotsman do against the Lanksman? And he is going to get himself through here. Is one Mr. Hefford. He is up into the top 5. Remember, he started 14th.
Yeah, and again, capitalising on people falling by the wayside was Steve Hefford. So up into that top 5, looking for his second podium in a row here now. Will have to catch up to those cars in front of him. His teammate Van Gool all over the back of Ralph Cullinan right now as they come through out of turn 2.
All over the back, but that's not going to get the job done. He's got to make a pass, and he won't get it into Quebec corner. So there'll be some patience needed. Dan Bristow lining up Mick Barry. He's been trying it for about 5 different corners to work away past the man with the pink wheels at this stage. But the pink wheels are saying, no, you will stare at those pink wheels and you will admire them as I keep you behind me. But for how much longer? I'd say about this corner and one more maybe. This corner, side by side, one more. He'll go to the outside, try and get it sorted here. Mick's all over the curb and somehow keeps it together. Maxwell will snipe one.
Yeah, and I will say about Mick Barry, real men wear pink, and is definitely trying to be a real man right now, fighting with the pro category drivers as he lost the AM category position to Andy Maxwell. Ralph Cullinan, though, still fighting there and still holding on to that 3rd position as he leads the AM category again once in this 4th race.
Van Gool still trying though, and he's going to try and understeer his way into that position for the next left. Big amounts of room given. Still contact though from Van Gool. That's how committed and loaded he was through that section. He gets the move at what expense? They have completely fallen off of Pete Newman, who is suddenly on the back of car 46, Jamie Ayres.
Yeah, Newman. We christened him Superman last week, and he's showing his super strength again here tonight, right on the back of Jamie Ayres, looking to claw back those points he lost in race 2. Now, the question is, can he get around him? Ayres is not an easy person to get around at all.
No, he's a very, very difficult battler. Jamie Ayres never knows what the word quit means. He looks in the dictionary, he says he can't find it in his copy, so he'll continue on and he'll try and go forward. He takes a little bit of a wider line, trying to discourage the move here at Moss, and he does so effectively, but Moss isn't the trouble corner at this point in time as finally Van Gool we saw up going up into 3rd position. The trouble for Jamie Ayres is right here. Pete Newman's got the easiest job in the world. It's a 1 kilometre straight.
Yeah, Mario Andretti straight, and here he goes already on the move here. He's going to have the inside line going into the final 3 corners, well, the first of the final 3 corners anyway. As here he goes, just going to make it as easy as that. Ayres looks like he's just going to let him have it for now. Probably going to try a bit of a cutback move here. No, he doesn't, just files in behind him for now.
Yep, for now, he's got to stay with. That's the issue, though, here for Jamie Ayres. If he can't break away from Pete Newman, he is in trouble with a capital T. Hefford now on the back of that next group, and the group behind, Roy Viveka, is through now on Scott Malcolm. And here's an interesting one. It was that battle for the championship in Season 1. Andreas Katz versus Dan Hunt versus now Dan Bristow. We're 3 wide into turn number 1 with 3 elites here in this series. Who's going to have the power of the exit? It's going to be Dan Hunt for the moment. Bristow's going to have to slot back into line. Katz hasn't given this one up on the inside here into Clayton's corner. And has he got the move sorted out? He absolutely does.
It's always a special moment when we come and see these guys race wheel to wheel, week in and week out. Once all 3 of them get together, they put on an absolute delightful show as Bristow gives Hunt a shove right there. Katz just hanging around the outside. These guys are just not going to give it up. And like I said at Long Beach last season, don't spin out Dan Bristow, because you do not want an angry Dan Bristow racing against you. As Hunt goes off.
He's off, he's in the fence, and he's going to be in trouble as he comes back onto circuit. How much damage now does Dan have? And is it going to be a case of desperate Doff reality Dan out there? Looks like the front left fender is exposed a little bit, so he's going to be in a bit of trouble as he goes through in his race right now. Side by side for 4th place, Cullinan holding off Steve Hefford, staying right in there with PVG, Peter Van Gool, going through the big left-hander and trying to figure out a result at this point in time. It is going to be not yet, but they've got 4 laps to figure it out, and Jamie Ayres is not letting go of Pete Newman. He's trying to set up for a run and an attack that can win him the race.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's trying to use the same strategy as Newman, just wait until that Mario Andretti straight and just get the correct run that he needs on the exit of Moss, and we're going to find that out now as they do come up to Moss. Cullinan, we're talking about good defensive drivers. Cullinan is another one of those great defensive drivers. Will not give this up whatsoever. Still right on the back of Van Gool as we're still trying to make our way up to Moss. I was at the wrong part of the track, but we are definitely seeing some great defensive driving out here tonight.
Absolutely, we are, and it's going to be patience that will prevail. We've seen it all season long so far. If you are patient, it will pay off in this series because of how drivers get aggressive, because of the close quarters natures of these drivers, because they want to push themselves to the absolute limit. Hefford again will poke his head out and try and get some work done. This is the issue. It's two Momo cars that aren't necessarily coordinating properly, and Cullinan's just covering every attempt here by Peter Van Gool to get one driver free. Finally, it happens right at the end of the straight, but it's at the end of the straight. It won't matter. You can't get alongside to make the move.
Yeah, and as Steve Hefford said in the interview after race 3, that Mario Andretti straight is just long enough where you could not quite complete a pass, and we saw that right there with Hefford trying to make the move, and Cullinan just able to hold on, just using every bit of defensive driving he can use. Muster at the moment as we've got two drivers in trouble. Anthony Larson jumping to pit road, same for Alan Toon, but this battle still raging on for that third spot.
It certainly is, and for Anthony Larson's troubles, it was running into a stranded Alan Toon who was trying to get back out and going again, and well, Larson tried to dive for the inside and ultimately he missed. So that is ultimately the end of his race right now. But top 5 still very much in it here with these 3 laps now, 2.5 laps to go. You've still got the battle going on between Katz and Bristow, mind you, which is rather important. But as well, Peter Van Gool in 3rd place once again is proving that he can be up there. And it's going to be up to all those drivers behind whether they can do anything to get themselves remotely close to a battle. And here again comes Steve Hefford.
Then Hefford just taking a peek around the outside right now. Knows that right-hander's coming. He said to us before that this is just long enough to not make a pass, and he's proving that right now. Cullinan just controlling that inside line, holds him off very well into the final 3 corners now. And Cullinan just getting to the back of Van Gool again. So the defensive driving also turning into attack at the same time.
He's marshalling fantastically, but here comes Heth again. Great run out to the final corner. Had to be tempered slightly as he goes through in towards turn number 1. Takes that very aggressive line over the curb, but it's not going to happen again. And now they're dropping Peter Van Gool. Jamie Ayers here has stayed with Newman, but Newman is just cranking it up right now with 2 laps to go. He's just put a 10th down, a 10th down, a 10th down. Ayers is completely out of range to make a pass.
That he is, and with 2 laps to go, that's a worrying sign there for Jamie Ayers. Been looking for that race win. Doesn't look like he's going to get it unless Pete Newman makes a crucial mistake, but we've seen Pete Newman so far this season. He's just been absolutely on it since the first drop of the green flag in Okayama.
He certainly has, and Pete Newman, okay, yes, he's had the 1 retirement. He's 3rd in the championship, though. Still, because of it, he has been sensational over the course of action. He's had 4 podiums this season, a win and 3 second places, a 5th, a 9th, and a non-finish. He knows that he has got everything in the tools to get his 2nd win of the season. He is someone who is often in the discussion for most wins over the course of a season. Ayers, big aggressive line to the inside, trying to scare in the mirrors Pete Newman here, as it is the very much Gloucestershire-based one Pete Newman against one Welshman in Jamie Ayers. We're down to 1 lap to go, Sam, and it is very much on now.
It is very much on, not just for 1st place, but still for that 3rd spot as well. Still very much in the air. The top 5 drivers all battling amongst each other. Let's not forget the battle between Dan Bristow and Andreas Katz as well, still raging on. Katz still trying to find a way past that number 12.
He is, but he is stuck. Dan Bristow is so good at keeping himself calm in situations like these. And again, Andreas Katz down the hill is searching for anything, something. He's not going to get there. Ayers closed a fantastic margin over that last lap. He closed 0.3 of a second to get himself into range to attack. Car 46 wants to steal this one away from Pistol Pete Newman. Has he got this one as they go up the hill in towards the big right then of Moss? And now it's about the attack. Newman's so good on the exit, but he's going to have to defend the Pure Sims Esports car. The team of Ash Sutton, who leads the BTCC Championship, the two-time champion. Now you see Jamie Ayres figuring out what can he do. It will have to be the outside. It's the only way it's going to be a move right now as he goes searching for it like he knows he can. He gets himself alongside. He's half a car length clear at turn-in. Here, Newman going to run the inside, just scrubbing a little bit there. Is Ayres. Has he got the drive through the mid-part? He does! He looks for the run. He can't get there. Newman's got it covered, but he's going to be compromised a little bit on the inside. Ayres is going to run out of track. Pete Newman, show of class. He has got himself an almighty result.
Yeah, and that would have clawed back some massive points for him right there in this final race. Jamie Ayres going to get second place. Van Gool holding on for third place, and that's going to give him some good points with regards to the championship. And what about Ralph Cullinan? A great result for him, P4.
Oh, P4,
Oh!
what a...
We've had a crash
hello.
at the end. Dan Bristow and Andres Katz on the final lap. I'm not sure what happened here.
No, they're okay.
Oh, they made it across the line, but they crashed at the end there. They must have been congratulating each other. Oh,
Absolutely. Good race. Good race here. Good race there. A little bit of contact here, there, and everywhere. Not ideal then, as the final couple drivers then will make their charges over towards the line. And when they do, we will be able to get confirmation of results up on screen for you. And just making his way over the line right now is a very sordid sight of Vincenzo Amico. He wants this week back because he knows that he left a lot on the table to be desired in races 3 and 4 after such a great setup to his season at Motorsport. But Pete Newman gets his second race win of the season, 15 minutes, 32 seconds, wins by a tenth, just about 2/10 over Jamie Ayres, with Peter Van Gool in third position and Ralph Cullinan, give credit, fourth to fourth. Doesn't seem like anything's happened in that race for him, but my goodness, did he dig and work for it. Steve Hefford gets fifth, with Roy Viveka sixth and Daniel Bristow in seventh, just ahead of Andreas Katz. Martin Sampson will take ninth. Mick Barry rounds out the top 10 with Andy Maxwell 11th. Dan Hunt in 12th. Damage causing him to drop back through the field. 13th would end up in the back pocket of Andy Littler, with Craig Jones in 14th and Charles Kellyman back to 15th place. Steve Cooley got caught up in the early issues, 16th only there for him, with Vincenzo Amico 17th and Carl Hardy in 18th place. Scott Malcolm will be classified as one lap down. He didn't make it to the end of the race on the final lap, with Alan Toon, Anthony Larson, Joe McDonald, Steve Hansford, Darrell Wright, Carl Jacquelet, all retirees from that race over there. But what we are going to be able to do is get a chance to talk with a driver. We're going to talk with the driver who finished in second place overall, and that is Jamie Ayres. Jamie, you've been searching all night long for a strong result. You've been showing those glimpses, that little bit of a spark which says, I could get something to happen here. Was the only issue there in terms of not getting that race win the fact that it was Pete Newman?
Oh, 100%, Jake. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I just was happy to sit behind him, and he had a little push towards the end to try and break the toe, and I thought, well, if I can just close him in, I can have a go in the last lap. But yeah, Pete just was a bit strong for me today.
Bit strong, but let's talk about how strong a race that fourth race was for Momo. Second, third, and fifth. You're looking to challenge and target that team's championship once again. How crucial is it that you're getting those team results coming in the race 2s, the race 3s, the race 4s that are building up the momentum of this season for you?
Yeah, we need to claw some points back. I think it's pretty close in the overall between us and Optical. And I think last season was the first season in a while that we haven't even got on the podium. So, yeah, we need to build the results and consistent finishes, points, win prizes, and all the rest of it.
Get every adage out of the book. Laguna Seca a week from now, and I'm sure that you'll be looking forward to it. Every sim racer knows in iRacing terms what Laguna Seca is all about. But how do you think everyone's going to tackle it? A track that everyone knows so well and probably has a very good set for.
Do you know what? I'm not looking forward to it, Jake. I've got to be honest. I like Laguna as a place, and in something a bit quicker, it's a mega track. But in this car, I don't know what it is. I really struggle around there. So that one's just going to be about consistency, build some points, and try and support the other guys who I know are quick there.
Let's hope you don't end up like Romain Grosjean then in a Honda Civic pace car. Before we let you go here, Jamie, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just shout out to Steve and Pete, my teammates, and our sponsor Momo, and and thanks again for you guys for another awesome broadcast.
No worries at all. Jamie Ayres, their second position overall, gave absolutely everything. And you could say gave a bit more on top of that as well. But final thoughts then, Sam. We take our leave here from Canada. We go back over the border to Salinas, California.
Yeah, and what a special track. It's a rookie track for most road course races, just like Okayama was last week, and it's going to be just as tricky as Okayama was. I mentioned all the corners earlier on in the stream, and a track I hold to very much regard. I got my first ever road course win there in the MX-5, so I know a thing or two about winning around there, but these guys are going to be prepared for a challenge next week. It's not going to be easy. Those corners are very, very unforgiving at that track.
They absolutely are, and the only place you can catch that unforgiving battle at Laguna Seca is with us at the Esports Broadcasting Network. If you haven't had the chance to already, like, share and subscribe. The opportunity is fast approaching for fun. But a massive thanks to the UK Sim Racing crew for getting it done here with us here today once again. From Sam Cooper-Bennett, who's been alongside me for the ride, I've been Jake Sperry. This has been a crucial battleground, and everyone will feel like they have a piece of the pie to say that they did really well out there. Van Gool, Newman, Katz, they all have a claim to it, but who's really going to be in control when it comes to Laguna Seca? There are no guarantees that it's going to be secure overall, but the only place you can catch that is with us. So for now, it's unclear, but like the Lucky 8 Ball says, try again later. 21st night of September brings us amazing sim racing. I will expect to see you a week from now.